Now, Tim, I know we were talking about dogs earlier, but it sounds like you might have a horse in the room at the minute.
No, I've just sorted the throat out. Don't
All
you
right,
worry
nice,
about that.
nice. There it
It's very
goes.
hot and dry today. There's
It
plenty of
is warm.
fluids. It is very warm, Jackie. Plenty of fluids being taken on board, but I'm sure everybody in chat can have sympathy with just how much work our voices do.
Yeah, we put them through the ringer day to day, week after week, month after month, just for your entertainment. So I hope you enjoy it. As our sanity depletes, as the heat rises, another fire is started. Because we're going into Clubhouse. It's the last map of the day, and it is set to be a fairly exciting one if Cafe is anything to go by. Tim, I hope you got water by your side for this one, mate. As genuinely, I think if we're going to see more from Mighty, if we'll see more from the side of Santos, we might be screaming a bit.
We certainly will be. Don't you worry, I will bring the thunder just as always. My voice is more than used to it by this point in time. You can't do a full stage of LATAM without that continuous excitement and hype becoming second nature to you, because this is what they bring. This is what they deliver all of the time. I think, I've got a feeling, Jackie, this is going to be another 24 rounds. This will be another play day where we've got 48 rounds across 2 games going the absolute max that they can. I just can't see either of these with the way the last map finished, coming in and really just completely dominating here. I would expect possibly 2 sort of 4-2 halves. I think this is going to be potentially a battle over gym and bedroom myself.
The 2 most useful parts of a house, really, when you think about it. You know, the gym, vitally necessary to stay healthy. The bedroom, good sleepy location.
Certainly is. I mean, I don't have a gym myself, Jackie. I'd quite like one.
Home gym?
I'd quite like
exclusive.
a little home gym.
Yeah.
Quite, yeah. Very useful. I feel like that's my excuse for why I'm not in shape.
Oh, yeah. Do you want to know a little Tom Cruise fact before this one kicks off?
I'd love one.
So Tom Cruise actually has his own gym that he takes with him to all sets or all shows that he does, called the Pain Cave, Tim.
The Pain Cave?
Yeah, the Pain Cave.
I mean, that you mean business, don't you? If you're going for a workout in the Pain Cave, you certainly mean business at that point.
Oh, yeah. 100%. He has like certain rules about who's allowed into the Pain Cave. It's a whole ordeal. It's very sacred to him. Isn't that incrucible?
It certainly is. Now, we'll see if we get any incrucible plays here in Clubhouse as Santos. They are on the attack to begin with. Black Dragons, they're going to be holding the downstairs site of Church and Arsenal to begin with. And just to give you an idea, if you're wondering what I was on about when I say it's going to be a battle over gym and bedroom, that means I expect the defenders to hold down the 2 popular sites of Church and Arsenal and CCTV and Cash. And then it's going to be all about whether they can actually win those rounds on the tougher site of gym and bedroom, or whether we're just going to see 4-2 go in either direction and then close out with another draw. But right now, Hugzord, he's keeping himself alive on that mid-floor. We can see quite a few defenders up there, actually. Hornatau, Hugzord, PZD, all up above us at this point. Romers to be cleared out by the attack of Santos.
Righto then. Let's see who'll be stepping into the Pain Cave into this round. If it will be the side of Santos, as right now it seems like the man that's on cruise control is Hugzord. Gets the opening frag as he'll bludgeon down Scardinia and give the opening pick over to Black Dragons. A sneaking suspicion that someone else might have tried to worm their way into his garage. He'll prop himself up in the corner and watch, heavily laser focused, for another bombardment to come through the doorway. But no one is there. Instead, on the flip side, I think off the outline, it looks like it might be Ace. It is indeed of Wag. Obviously, he's got those Selma charges. If he wants to, he could rip those soft walls apart in second and throw them off guard, but he's not going to waste them. He'll keep them close and potentially make a bit of a distraction play, allowing an entry to come in momentarily. 1 minute and 10 seconds left on the clock. Off the back of that opening pick, there's been a bit of a lull across the battlefield, Tim. No real response from Santos yet here on the first round.
It's a bit like they don't know exactly how to play into these roamers. I'm not sure they've got them all pinned down on drones. Hugzord seems to be pretty happy sat where he is in the garage, waiting for that late round backstab. He could potentially drop down the oil pit and into blue corridor quite easily, or there's always the quick rotate round to the main stairs. Hugzord and Hornatau teaming up, PZD getting in on the action, and we suddenly find ourselves 1 versus 5. Riser's got it all to do here. He is down in moto, so he is able to access site. Here comes the first push, takes down Hornatau, still an absolute A lot of work to do yet. 1 versus 4, he finds himself. He knows that there's one in a single door. The rotation is there to be challenged through, but he will back away. He's just concerned about the potential for a flank. 20 seconds left to go. He has to try and get this diffuser down. Shut down from the door. Hugzord moves out of stop onto the single door and gets the kill onto Rise. Great round from Black Dragons. They've certainly carried their momentum forward. Look at that for a tight angle.
A beautiful one. A curt angle indeed. And a lovely round to start off the game for Black Dragons. Coming out hot this time around, not needing to warm up. It seems like the oven this time, Tim, has already been preheating in the downtime, and they are looking at a lovely 200 degrees straight from the opener.
The roam absolutely decimated Santos there. There was nothing that they could do. They tried to play into it. They tried to get those kills, but none were forthcoming whatsoever. And ultimately, it just came down to the one man in a 1 versus 5. You are talking about absolute fractional percentages of the amount of times you will be successful from that situation. So Black Dragons carry their momentum forward as expected, really. Pick up the defense of Church and Arsenal. I, again, would expect a strong defense here of CCTV and Cash, and then Santos's opportunity is going to come when we move across to the west side of this top floor into gym and bedroom. But there is a full 3 minutes before we get to that point, and who knows, they could well try to push in here. How will they go about that, you ask? Well, they're going to try to breach the wall that is down at the bottom of your screen at the moment, the east wall, and then apply some pressure from that half roof. Generally speaking, it's also advisable to clear out Garage Catwalk in and around where PZD is. Try and get a man or two established in there, and that pretty much gains you all the control you need of CCTV. If you want to chuck a man or two into construction to throw some confusion in there, it never hurts, but you should have all the control you need at that point to get that diffuser on the ground in behind that server stack inside of CCTV. But quite a few ticks in boxes need to happen before they get to that stage.
Talking of ticking boxes as well, we'll see if Black Dragons can tick off a successful garage hold with the way they've set up for this round, of course. Patoxy are going to be plopped in there. You've got the Jaeger and the Wamai in play, and that makes it so much easier to gain control of it, but you can't control this. Mighty on the rappel, finding a disgusting little angle and blowing the feet off a Hornetau, dropping your mute out of action very early on. There's potential for a follow-up here as well. Spamming away, bullets whizzing very close by to picking up another target. For the meantime, switches over to the skeleton key, the underbarrel that will tear apart that soft wall and give them complete access in towards that B site now. Hugzord, he runs the risk, jumps up on top of the decking and looking for the peak there, but he's not going to get anything just yet. This is the reality they live in, Tim. A 4 versus 5 with 1 minute and 45 seconds left to work with.
Rise just doing some work there on the Maverick to clear off the electrification that's been put down. I think it was actually mute jammers on the garage wall, and that will allow Ace to open things up. So as I suggested, east wall is theirs. They are now looking to move into garage. PZD has been cleared out by Cyprus, and that leaves us 5 versus 3. Cyprus looking to aggress up those cash stairs, but Patoxy in the garage, he will deal some damage out onto Mighty. You can see he's been forced back towards site, just burning those magnets there to allow the nades potentially to come in. Scardinia gets control over garage. Lagonis moves down with a kill in lounge. So we now find ourselves 3 versus 2, but there is a lot of control for Santos here. They still have the option of getting a man on the half roof. I think it is Mighty who is in place there, and the garage is theirs. So they have that control. They have diffuser in hand. They are certainly 9/10 of the way towards activating that little briefcase on the ground, but they need to get in there safely, and that's exactly what happens. Out comes the Toxic Babe canister. They just need to bait that utility out. Rise it will be to shut down Hugzord. This is all on Lagonis now. 1 versus 3.
In terms of the smoke cans he has left, there is 1 in reserve, and that needs to be timed to perfection. Placement is pivotal as well, and it will go out brilliantly. As you can see, it denies the plant from Wag. He's got to back off, he's got to waste time, and it leaves them with about 16 seconds before they can try again. Lagunis on a wide swing. He can shut down the diffuser, but he plays it smart. Spots out the first on Rise. They have to fully commit to this. If he can get him off the plant, Tim, he could have tried to save the round, but it cannot be done. Sacrifices are made, and Scardina comes out on top with another round for Santos as the Zofia provides perfect overwatch.
What an attempt from Lagonis there. Just got bold. He knew that after the shots had been taken, it was unlikely for a half a second for them to continue reining in. So he took his opportunity across to the server stack. He was just trying to upset the animation there and take the man off the plant attempt, but he was unable to as it closed out, and that was the round shut down for Santos. So good attack from them. As I said, once you've got that east wall and that garage control, you are in a very strong position. And despite great work from Lagonis on the smoke there, using the Toxic Babe utility and really trying to make things difficult for them, it was just too little at the end there, and that will mean that we see them coming back to attempt CCTV and cash once again.
My, oh my. All right. Scoreline tied up. Game looking competitive. Giving us our absolute all. It's looking good to see. Now, of course, as well, if you are new to LATAM, you may have noticed glancing up towards the overlay in the stream there, the icon indicating half of one of the ticks there. Normally, of course, representing that they've taken a map. Obviously, if it's only half of them, that is because there has been a draw and they get a point, well, half a point each in the sense of the indicator. That's how that works, of course, because Cafe was a 6-6 split. We're now on Clubhouse, and we'll see if it's going to be the same outcome here. In terms of the round so far, it is currently a neck-and-neck battle, with it going 1-1. We head back into the third round. It's an opportunity for one of our two sides to take a bit of a step away and build a lead, and finally get themselves into a position to get advantage here. Early on so far, nothing too crazy coming down. The Santos, of course, staying in the roof control, standard execution onto the site as they'll go for the same play once again.
Still a little bit of preparation going on from the defenders, taking every second that they can, knowing that they are unlikely to suffer any direct pressure in sight at this point now. The mute jammer will be taken away. That will allow the Selma device to activate, so making nice and easy work of opening up that garage, the east wall this time around, rather than having to burn the entire reinforcement off. They'll just clear out the prevention technique of the mute jammer and just open it with ace. So that gives them the initial access. This is exactly the same rinse and repeat from Santos. Not too much of a surprise. Next step, you know it as well as I do, and that is to clear out garage. They've obviously got, I think Patoxy it will be in there again on the catwalk to just make things difficult, but they do need to be aware of the man underneath as well. We can see there's a man just down there in the oil pit area. I'm not 100% sure if he's maybe moved away at this point and will be looking to get himself back to site, but great placement of the magnets there, just landing them on top of those light fittings, and they will try to keep him safe for as long as possible.
Okay, a minute and 20 seconds here. Patoxy, whoa, towards garage. You got to stay alive. You need to be able to have control of that, and that is the worst way to die. Sideswiped from a nice angle that has been opened up by Scardina. Cyprus as well coming into the fray right now. There's an absolute tussle going on, and Hugsword's the only one that can actually put some pressure on the board in favour of Black Dragons, as the Jaeger will pick up a critical pick. Mighty, down but not out, sliding his way around. In the meantime, there's another pick as well, though, as Cyprus is going to get overthrown, proving to not be an oasis here. Not looking good. It was just a mirage, Tim, leaving us into a 3 versus 3 with 40 seconds to work with. There's a lot on the line in round 3.
Mighty will be collected and brought back to the land of the living. He will find himself on 20 health, but that's a big risk because that's only a couple of ticks for that smoke canister, and that will kill you very quickly. So need to keep Mighty away from that. Waggett is on full health, who will be looking to move in and get that diffuser down. Quick poke his head round there, and the deployable shield have to be circumvented as the smoke utility comes out, but great timing of the Toxic Babe canister there. Hornetow manages to take the 20 health that Mighty had remaining. Wag goes big, but will be shut down by Lagonis as it comes down to it, and Black Dragons, they manage to get their successful defense of CCTV and cash and find themselves 2-1 on the scoreboard now, and this one is bouncing backwards and forwards like a rubber ball, Jackie.
Oh, mate. Like a rubber band ball. One of those bad boys. Do you ever make one of those, Tim?
I've been known to indulge.
I remember doing that around the ages of 10 to 16. I feel like for some reason that was quite prevalent in my life. You get a 50p, you'd start with a 50p base and you'd build up with rubber band after rubber band.
That's what golf balls started out as, wasn't it? I'm sure it was essentially the same thing, but inside a hard casing.
I wouldn't be surprised. Have you ever cut a golf ball in half?
I can't say as I have, but I think that's where the history comes. I actually saw a thing on TV once where a guy had been building in a rubber band ball for about 30 years. It was like probably about the size, half of the size of a house. It was absolutely massive.
Oh, bloody
And
hell.
it was a game show where if he won, they'd pick it up with a crane and drop it for him so he could see if it bounced. If he lost, they set it on fire, and he lost, and they just torched the thing.
Oh, no.
But they'd recorded it, they'd picked it up and dropped it and recorded it, and it just absolutely ruined this runway that they'd done it on. It did not bounce.
Oh, mate. Yeah, I was going to say that'd just be like dropping a really heavy weight.
Yeah,
it
just
would
trash
have
the
no
tarmac.
spring to it, right? It would just impact and deal damage.
He'd been buying like specialist rubber bands so he could fit them around this thing. Yeah, it was crazy.
Well, yeah, because that's the thing. Obviously, eventually, you skill cap yourself because you get to a point where you just can't fit any more on.
Well, he did not skill cap himself. He went straight to source and had them manufactured specially. And right now, Black Dragons, they are trying to manufacture a win here. They are trying to bounce back into this game after suffering only a draw on Cafe. They managed to fight their way back largely, but it just wasn't enough in the end to get them over the line, as Santos had managed to get that magical 6th round on the board. So they had that safety net. And right now, Black Dragons are looking pretty good for this. It's been hit and miss in CCTV and cash, but they're going to be going to gym and bedroom. They didn't have to do this, Jackie. They did have the option of going back down to the basement of Church and Arsenal, but they have chosen to take on the tricky tertiary site of Clubhouse.
Let's see if it will pay off. Who's going to be doing their rubber band ball impression, and who will be looking like the tarmac with a massive dent in it at the end of this round? Right now, we've got about 2 minutes and 10 seconds to decide what the outcome will be. Bit of hatch control being taken. Lagunis with a sneaking suspicion, obviously off the back of the drone hole, trying to blow their shoes off. Is firing out warning shots, but they're far too far away right now for too much of an impact into the round. Talking of impact, an impact fragger reveals himself. Scardina, quick on the draw when it comes to the entries, and that hasn't died down into the 4th round. Gets a critical pick onto Hugzord. That's your smoke gone. Smoke as the first operator you lose in a pivotal round like this, on a bit of an awkward site to play with, they might feel the burn from that, Tim. That could certainly harm them in the late round.
A lot of lost utility there, as we say. Just no option now to deny that push, to give any sort of area denial to a plant going down. Very, very tough from here. They do have nitros left on the board. There's the potential for, I think, Kaid, Mute, and Valkyrie to have brought them along. So there is the option there for vertical denial, potentially, and that's something Santos needs to be aware of. But I think they've got a man downstairs who is ready to deal with that. Hornetau puts out one of those nitros. It will not connect with anybody. And it's 5 versus 3 now as Black Dragons, they are backs to the wall. And as I say, I did question the site choice here with Church and Arsenal. They've already won down there. They had it available. It was certainly an option for them, but instead they chose to come to gym and bedroom. And maybe they were just trying to bait Santos into an unexpected lineup they might not have thought or been prepared for coming here, but it certainly looks like they were fully prepared.
Mighty, he's prepared to punish as he drops on all 4s and gives the business to Hornetau. Follow-up shot as well with the connection there into the cranium of Lagunis as he's been gunned down. 1 man remains and he isn't going to be alive for long. A perfect round going the way of Santos as Wag will get the final killing shot off. Comes off the diffuser into the warpath as he spots him towards the showers and ends his reign of terror. Another round going the way of Santos, looking clean so far here as the game is brought back to a 2-2 split.
You may well be looking back at that round a little bit later on in this matchup, depending what the final score is, and just questioning that site choice as to whether it's really determined the outcome or not. It's always a tough site to hold on to, especially when those walls start getting opened up, and Santos, they did a great job of taking advantage of that, getting those early round kills. Scardinia coming in with a great pick to begin things onto Hugzord, and it just fell apart from there, really. And now they know exactly where they're heading, so they can prepare for Church and Arsenal as well. This time around, it'll be interesting to see whether Black Dragons go for that roam hold again. I think they will, because they had a lot of success with it last time around. But BZD on the pulse, that would suggest at least he is going to be playing in and around site. But having a look at the operator lineup, you've got the Malusi there, you've got Patoxy on the Jaeger. So there is some option there to get players off and into the map, but with no Mozzie, no Mute, you are not preventing any drone or information gain whatsoever from the attackers. We could well see this being a turtle on the basement.
And that's never ideal. Turtles in the basements, you want to call someone to come and deal with that. That is a problem on multiple levels. And I feel like this map does play into having problems on multiple levels, specifically roamers that can get themselves into tight nooks and crannies to devastate you as the round develops. And the round is beginning to open up now. We are back in as we walk into the opening moments. Let's see if Santos have any skills up their sleeves that they'll be pulling out into a pivotal round like this. Obviously, this is going to decide who will get to free first, and from that point, if it will start to go towards a 4-2 split, or if we are looking for this to end up straight down the middle once again with another 3-3. And honestly, Tim, I wouldn't be that surprised. Santos and Black Dragons, over the course of the rounds we've seen so far, with Cafe included, it feels like it's so neck and neck at every single turn. It feels like it really is too tough to call between them both.
I completely agree. It's an absolute nail-biter. There's no two ways about it, and that is exactly what we expected, and these two teams are not disappointing. Now, Santos, they've recognised that there is no roam game to trouble them this time, and they've moved in very quickly. They've got control of bar, started opening up those hatches, so they now have vertical control into Moto as well. So the next step for them is to try and get down there and look at getting that church wall opened up. Once they do that, they've got access to the default plant spot, but my big concern would be they need to apply some pressure from either blue or from dirt tunnel, and right now that's what Scardinia is trying to do. He needs to move Patoxy out of the blue tunnel. He's being supported by Rise, just opening up that hatch above him as well to make the Jaeger feel a little bit more uncomfortable, but they definitely need to get somebody established in there. One-dimensional pushes into this site often don't work.
All right, let's see who will be on top of the situation then when this starts to kick off, as they're not leaving themselves too much time for push to come to shove. Santos, of course, basically down to the 60-second mark now, and it is a full 5 alive standoff. It is going to be a hard-fought fight when they do push themselves on to that bomb site. Scardina roaming around, gets tagged up and shot in the face, sees a man drop in front of him and adjusts his aim to kill another. Wag coming in as well as Patoxy's been punished. It's all on PZD. A 1 versus 5 from a 5v5 in a matter of seconds. This is a horrible predicament to be left in, and he is going to be panicked. Somehow he's finding frags whilst he's taking a sip from his water bottle, Tim. He's doing damage right now. Drops out the nitro as he will readjust and look for another opportunity to take down another man, and it'll present itself. The Maverick's been mauled, his head's been ripped off, and it leaves it still in a winnable position, but it's not so winnable if your heart's not pounding. The pulse has been flatlined, finished off by the Ash that will burn that round into the history books as another one for Santos.
Good attack from Santos there. As I said, you need multiple angles of attack coming into that site, and as we could see at the end of things there, PZD was completely encircled. It was enemies on every single side of him. It was a real rock and a hard place. The walls were closing in. There was nowhere for him to move, and it was a matter of time until he was shut down. Santos, very professional in getting that diffuser down, still not chasing the kill, knowing that there is a bigger purpose there, and a fantastic game from them to put themselves in the lead for the first time here on Clubhouse. It is the first time they've managed to get any sort of advantage, and going down to Church and Arsenal once again, I think it's necessary for Black Dragons to go back to what they brought in round number 1, which was that roam game. Get players out into the map. We can see the Mozzie, see the Mute, see the Vigil. The combo is there. The Castle is in tow as well on the Patoxy, and that is going to be a big signal that this is going to be a top floor roam now. Santos, they've got their confidence up since round 1, and I think we might see a slightly different outcome. I think we could see a very strong roam clearance coming in from Santos, but if that's not the case, then Black Dragons, I think, will hold on. It's all about the clearance of that top floor roam as quickly as possible.
Oh, yeah. If Santos come out with a high tempo that we've seen them play with at times, then yeah, there's a big possibility that they could really get themselves a 4-2 split here on the half, which would be huge going into your defense. That is a lot of buffer that you have to work with. We'll see, though, if that's what they're going to go for. In terms of the grouping right now, fairly budged up together, as it seems like they could actually go for an aggressive bombardment straight in, with Cyprus leading the charge. Actually, Scardina's going to go as the one in front, hot droned in, as obviously that will go in for the reconnaissance play. He'll follow through just slightly behind it, but it's been taken out immediately. The Mozzie making a mockery of them, and the shot he's starting to tear them to pieces. Hugzord ending the life of Mighty as Buck is broken. Splits in two. Zofia could suffer the same fate, but she gets down the vent just in the nick of time. Follow-up frags, though. 1, 2, and 3. Santos, we said they might go for a fast round, but we didn't mean they'd be overthrown in a matter of seconds, Tim. But that's what's happened. Black Dragons with a perfect way to end the half.
Found ourselves leveled up, squared away as we come in at 3-all, and you've got to ask the question. Black Dragons, you should have brought that in round 5. It was the roam hold that they struggled to deal with in round 1, and Santos struggled just as much in round 6. Nothing changed as they were completely shut down and decimated by the Black Dragons all over the map. There was just absolutely nothing they could do, no challenge that they could win. They just played right into the hands of that extended roam game, and that moves us into the second half of things here. Absolutely none the wiser as to who is still likely to take the majority of points. Now, Santos and Black Dragons drew on Cafe 6-all, as you can see up at the top of your screen on the overlay there. Our wonderful producer Simon has got the little graphics on there, so it shows you Cafe 6-all. We see so many times people commenting in the chat, what was the score of the last map? So he's gone ahead and put it on the top for you there. Heading into Clubhouse now, second half, there's nothing to separate these two. Can Santos be more successful on the defence? As I said, we might expect teams to take Church and Arsenal and to take CCTV and Cash. That's all Santos need to do. They don't need to worry about Gym and Bedroom. If they can lock down those two sites and take the half 4-2, they will win 7-5 overall and put 2 points on the league table for themselves.
Okay. An important round 7 here. Obviously, with the game being so close, with it literally being tied up 3 rounds to 3 rounds, you need to come out and give yourself a good stepping stone. And Black Dragons, based off what we've just seen into the prior one, they've shown they've got a lot of firepower. This is looking more like the Black Dragon side that I was talking about before we'd even got into Cafe. Before the series had even really started, Tim, I thought they'd come out swinging. They'd be the ones playing with confidence and aggression, when in reality, that mantle has pretty much been under the belt of Santos. It's been so neck and neck, so back and forth the entire time, and you do need to take a step away. You've got to build yourself a big position here, because at this point, rounds are the commodity. That's what you need. And into round 7, we'll see who's going to be snatching a little bit more. Of course, a couple of angles being opened up early on there by Patoxy, just to look his way through, take out any of those batteries that may be in place. And we see the Selma charges being chucked on to rip down the barricade and give them an entry point early on into the round. Ooh, near misses there, as Garage Control's getting a bit aggressive.
Mighty just looking to hold on to that area, make it difficult for the ingress into the map for the time being now. Scardinia is the only defender left out in the map. He needs to try and hold on for as long as possible, waste as much time as he can. That's what it's all about. And I tell you what, take a few with you if you can. He will shut down Patoxy, and that is the Maverick off the board. And that could be an important factor here, because now opening hatches is all going to come down to Lagonis. He's already used one Selma device to get in through that hot tub wall, so they start to become limited depending on where they want the ultimate push to come through. If they want to move in to the normal default plant spot in behind the black boxes inside of Church, then they are going to have to be very sparing with the Selma devices, because they will need at least one on the triple wall there. So that leaves them only able to open up one hatch.
Ooh, I'll tell you, opened up though. And that is the chest cavity of Scardino. Also, his head's taken a couple of lacerations as he's been bludgeoned down to the ground and left us with this position. 60 seconds essentially remaining into round 7 here. A very important one. And with a 4v4 going on, it is tied up not only in scoreline, but also in the battle of attrition. This is getting worrying, Tim, now. For the side of Black Dragons, you have to get a little bit more. You've got to come in, find an entry frag, give yourself a lead to play with. The issue they run into, if they execute late onto a site at the minute, Santos effectively can just contently play the trade game. And they've got a lot of utility left as well. Curious to see how many of those smoke cans Rise actually still has under the utility belt, because if he's got at least 2 of them, with 30 seconds, Tim, he could burn so much time off the clock, and you will be left up a creek without a paddle, but they don't want to stay up. They want to drop down. Hugzord sliding through the hatch and taking the peek around. Cyprus will get the opening kill. Hugzord and PZD find 2 apiece, and the game now flips into their favor, especially if they can get this next follow-up frag, shutting down Rise and leaving it all on Cyprus. Jaeger 1v2. He's got to deny the plant to secure the bacon of this one. Charges around, bullets whizzing by. If he can just tuck in and find the frags, he can win it. He comes off the diffuser, but he expects him to go left. He takes the right turn, makes the right move, and wins the round.
Absolutely heartbreaking for Cyprus there, doing everything that was required of him, getting in there, gets the first strike, brings it back to a 1v1, but he's just unable to shut down the man. He's unaware of exactly where that diffuser was being planted by Lagonis, and Lagonis was able to come the animation, flip around and get the bullets onto the skull of Cyprus that shut down the round. And what a shame it was for the Jaeger. He was so close to clutching that out for his team, and it was always going to be a big ask because they knew exactly where he was. You could see him being pinged out in blue repeatedly. There'd already been a challenge onto him there, so his location was fully known, but he certainly made the most of that round, and he really put my heart in my mouth because I thought he was going to just get that one over the line somehow.
Man, that's a rough position to just have snatched away from you. It felt like he was going to win the 1v1. He had clawed it back into a great position, but it's all gone wrong. It's all gone a little bit peak-tong, and it's left us here in round 8, with, of course, Black Dragons now having a lead. 1 round ahead, to be precise. Hugzord hitting some of his shots as well. 7 frags to his name. Second closest there is Lagunis with 6, closely followed by PZD on 5. Linked up with Hornetow. Team's looking good. They are hitting their shots. They're playing some high-quality Siege, and across the board for Santos, it feels like they've all been muted a little bit. Their decibels have certainly been turned down. The only one that's actually bringing the ruckus in my eyes is Scardina, and he has to bring the ruckus to him. He's got to go out wild into these defensive rounds. I want to see him playing with that confidence. You're on the Valkyrie, do something dangerous, and get a bold opening pick.
Well, he's certainly doing a job for his team right now, as you say. He just needs 1 or 2 others to step up and really support and just try and find that sort of extra yard, that extra mile that's just going to push them forward and get them over the line. But right now it's Black Dragons who take the advantage on their first attack, and if they can continue in that fashion, they're heading down to Church and Arsenal once again, and the loss of the Maverick early on really didn't seem to do them much damage. They were able to push forward and still get exactly where they needed. Instead, they just opened up the soft wall with the book and moved in through the old Ash Rush spot onto getting the plant down, and it was really well played from them. And can they get in here and get another successful roam clear? They pushed the defenders back to site quickly last time. Scardini was the only one left out on the roam for a good while. He did manage to get 1 kill out there, but then was shut down. We can see he's been forced back to main stairs as it is now. Cyprus and Wag are out there with him, but as I say, that Hornetow, it will be shutting down Cyprus with a headshot. So that's the Jaeger off the board, and the roam clearance is already underway from Black Dragons. They're starting to bring that aggression that we saw against Ints and those quick clearances.
That's what you need. You've got to turn up the tempo. You've got to play with that high-octane style of play. Go in there with the large MPH and take the business straight to them. Right now, Suits and Ties plays from Black Dragons. They are bringing a bit of the business. They just need to maintain it throughout the course of this one. Good use as well from PZD, of course, opening up those vertical angles with the sledge. You can peer down and potentially do some death-defying stunts from the elevated position if they reveal themselves. If they get a little bit too aggressive and overextend out. Maverick opening up the hatch as well. We might just see both of them bombarding in, and at that point going for the full execution. The pincer play into the lower site. That's what will really test the might of the side of Santos here. Looking at probably about 40 seconds before Black Dragons burst their way in, and we'll start to see sparks flying between the two teams.
Scardino just trying to hold down that blue corridor. We can see he's supported by a Banshee gadget as well, just on the floor, so anybody trying to push down those stairs is going to struggle to move forward. They'll be impeded by at least 25%. I think it will go up to 50 as they get to the point of actually approaching Scardino. He's just going to battle for as long as possible. 30 seconds left to go, and Black Dragons just seem to be hitting a bit of a wall here and just slowing down majorly now. The Banshee has been cleared out. That is a good start for them. Scardini decides it's time to dip away and fight from a different angle. He's going to move himself into the rear of Arsenal, but completely shut down, unaware of the man at the bottom of main stairs. Hugzord it will be, getting a nice headshot the full length of that corridor. 5 versus 2 now as another kill reigns in. This is going south very quickly for Santos. Lagonis once again able to start getting that diffuser down at boxes. Hornetau will shut Mighty out before Lagonis can activate the briefcase, and that is going to be another round for Black Dragons, and they are looking super solid on the attack right now.
Oh, yeah. Metal Gear Solid with the way they're playing it, Tim. It's big, it's strong, it's a commanding lead now, and that's the more important factor, right? You're 1 round away from, at the very least, having the draw guaranteed. And compared to how much of a slog it was on Cafe, getting the draw guaranteed now for Black Dragons is a big feat. And at that point, there's an even bigger foot that will be coming alongside it if they can get a following round and shut it down 7-3. It's possible, especially with how they're coming into it. I mean, the confidence we're seeing from them on their attack, they're going in, they're looking very commanding, they're clearing out their angles, they're hitting their shots. It's impressive stuff. They do make a bit of a change, though, this time around. So PZD coming off the sledge with the 6th pick going onto the Habana. I'm curious if maybe we might actually see even more of a tempo play coming into this one. Just really go all out aggressive, do something a little bit more crazy with that speed that Habana could bring into it if you just want to remove one of those hatches and just charge your way in and look for a bit of a scrap.
I could be wrong, but with the lineup switch out to the Habana, knowing that they are likely to be attacking onto CCTV and Cash, I think that will be well predicted considering they've just won the last 2 rounds on Church. Santos at this point unlikely to take a 3rd round there. So at this point, I think with the lineup we've got, we are likely to see an open up absolutely everything strategy. So they'll get the east wall open, they'll look to aggress into Garage as well, but then the Habana generally is used to push from the top side of the map, coming in through bedroom into construction and getting that wall open into cash room. And I tell you now, if they can achieve east wall, garage wall and the construction wall, because they've got an absolute mountain of hard breach utility on side, if they can achieve that, there is going to be absolutely nowhere to hide for Santos inside that site. It's going to be like a piece of Swiss cheese.
Ooh, very holy. Not ideal.
Not ideal at all when you're trying to defend a site.
That's the thing. You see about Swiss cheese, Jim? It's not very good at retaining water. So,
is any cheese?
I
suppose mozzarella is.
Yeah, there you go. So that's a good one. Wensleydale also, if it's thirsty.
I've got a lovely thirsty piece of Wensleydale on my sandwich.
All right then, Gromit. Let's get back into this one, as it is going to be a smashing round, Tim. 2 minutes left on the clock. 3-5. Black Dragons, they're leading. They're running away with it a little bit. I think it's fair to say they've started to find their footing, and with the level of speed they're bringing into this one, already tearing down the walls, they're getting themselves into a good position to attempt to push in. You have to get garage control, though. That's something that can always bite you in the bottom if you don't give it the attention it needs. They're prepared for the run out. They've smashed down the Claymore immediately, trying to deny any aggression that could come out from the side of Santos, but they don't have to play aggressive. All they've got to do is sit pretty, utilize the fact that they can block out basically all of your utility, with, of course, the Wamayan Jaeger being in play with those ADSs and magnets. You can soak it all up. You can sit there on the railing and smite them down as they push in. Here's a rough factor as well. You've lost PZD, and you might lose another man fairly quickly. As Scardina, he's testing the limits, bobbing and weaving back out the open angle with the clear line of sight connection onto Lagunis, but he can't finish him off.
Scardini's just got a real nose for those hard breaches this time around. You often don't get to pick who those kills will be onto, but taking PZD, that will mean another wall is safe more than likely. Lagonis takes big damage, but will still be in the fight. Scardini looking to cause a nuisance of himself, rotating underneath the map, but at 4 versus 3, he needs to think about getting himself back to site, because the pressure is going to mount on the 2 that remain, and it is not going to be easy. That is a big play from Scardini. It's a big risk as he goes up the oil pit. Did he get spotted out? No. He takes shots but misses them. He has to hit them there. Hugzord shuts him down and leaves us now 4 versus 2. Established planter going in. Lagonis getting the diffuser down. It's all down to Rise. 1 versus 2 effectively with a man down. He is going to be challenged. He does get another kill. 1 versus 2, but it's effectively 1 versus 1 if he gets the man on stairs. No! Patoxy just able to win it out. I really thought Rise might do that there.
It looked like it was his round, Tim. It looked like it was his round. And from the position they were in, right, where the backstab goes so wrong. Oh, that was it. That was how you save yourself from a round that had basically been thrown away. It had been dropped like a mobile phone down through a drain vent. It was gone into the sewers, and they had an opportunity to grab it at the last second, but it slips through the fingertips once again. 6 rounds now for Black Dragons. Oh, that's going to be so frustrating. You would be tilted all the way to the next play day with some of the mistakes that came out into that round. An awkward little 1v1 there towards the stairway at the end that he just couldn't quite follow through with. But the backstab played him. 2 perfect opportunities. Only get 1 frag, but potentially 2. And nothing comes out of it. That's going to be kicking yourself.
It's going to be a bitter pill to swallow, that much is true. Scardenia has played so well for Santos so far, but just unable to really make it pay when it would have counted the most. And I can't overstate how big of a risk that flank attempt is. Coming up the oil pit ladder like that leaves you completely exposed. I mean, how many times have you seen Claymores getting put down to cover that exact thing? You know, it's just not something that you can account for. There's no way that you can deal with that Claymore yourself when you get up there because your weapon is out of your hands. You know, he could throw his nitro up there if he still has it in hand to make sure it gets cleared out, but it's completely pointless then because all it does is just signal his arrival. So no choice but to just go for it. He gets up there completely unnoticed, but then he can't land his shots, and it's agonizing to watch. And you know, obviously there's other options there. He could have potentially moved up the stairs to try and get onto the catwalk and, you know, may have just given himself a more advantageous angle, but there's just so many risks involved. You know, if he gets spotted out during that time, he's dead without even trying to get the kills. And on a different day, I tell you now, Scardenia gets both of them, so it's definitely a 9 out of 10 for the effort. It was just the execution lacking this time around, and it was probably excitement at getting away with it, Jackie. That's why he's missed his shots. He just couldn't believe that he'd actually got up there and had 2 of them lined up in front of him.
Oh, that probably plays a part of it, right? Because you've got to think it's not an easy rotate to pull off. The fact he did, Tim, I think we were both sat there thinking, has he been spotted? Is he going to get the frag? And then it all just goes so far south. He ends us up in Louisiana. And now we're here, Tim. 6 rounds to 3. Black Dragons, they need 1 more to seal the deal, to secure the victory and end the game. And with the quality it seems just been coming out from some of the rounds that have just had a little bit of lady luck on their side, it seems like it probably is going to be where this chapter ends. And so does the stream for the day. They get the early frag. They're able to punish Mighty on the mute, and he has been reduced to nothing. 4 men remain for Santos. Manpower dropping second by second. They're going to have to do something bold if they want to bring this one back, and the nitro plays aren't doing enough. They're chucked out, but they miss. They don't bring home the fish. Ooh, that was
like
nice,
the
though.
seal has been well and truly broken, but Cyprus, he does everything he can to get those nuts and bolts tightened up and to just secure the ship for a little bit longer, but PZD will get in with a kill onto Wag, leaving us 3 versus 3, and this is still in the hands of Black Dragons. They could well finish this off here and now and take 2 points overall. They are starting to open up vertically, just trying to get any sort of angle they can, and was a nice one from Scardenia there, just looking up through the kitchen window to see if he can catch a man on the upside down rappel. Now the motor hatch will be opened up, and it looks like the smoke of Rise is just going to dip his way back into sight and look to hold on behind that deployable shield for a little bit longer. Now Lagonis does have the option of getting that wall open if he chooses to. I'm not sure if he's got any Selmas left in hand, actually. We'll see as the round progresses. I'm sure right now he's just baiting out the utility of the smoke, and it will be PZD who goes in and recovers the diffuser. But there's only 20 seconds left to go, Jackie. They're going to have to do something quick smart here.
They will need to. If they want to walk away with a win, it's got to come through quickly. Cyprus as well, he's already hit some stunning shots into the game so far, but his teammates are being gunned down all around him. He falls, it's all on Rise. 6 seconds to deny. Lagunis getting the diffuser down. If he plays a sneaky game, an elaborate game of hide and seek, then there might be a possibility that he can win this one. He gets the initial headshot. He's got to make it there in time, Tim. 1 second before it's down, but he waits it out. Puts them into a position where he's given a chance to Lagunis. It's a 1v1. His heart is going to be pounding out of his chest. 30 seconds to clutch it. He's shot down to 1 HP, essentially, peeking round the corner, spots him out, but can't land the shots. Switches to the shotty, downs him, finishes him with a double tap, and jumps on the diffuser. He stays alive and keeps the game ticking for Santos.
How does he do it, Jackie? That is the question. How does he do that? He gets hit hard. He's down to 1 bullet left. He cannot take much more of a fight, and then flips it to the shot. He takes the CQC action and hits him right on the chin. Clean knockout, and what a cleanup that was from Rise. I was so impressed. I'm writing in my notes for Lagonis there that it was a heads-up plant just going in there. It was absolutely perfect choosing. We could saw that he completely baited Rise into thinking that he was in the normal default spot in church, but absolutely not. He had gone through. It was absolutely beautiful from Lagonis, but Rise just raised the bar even further.
Wow. Also, that play there from Cyprus, man. Both of them having a ginormous individual impact into the course of the game. Cyprus is to open it with a 2K, really, really clean. The follow-up shot was just wild. That man flicked like a nutter, Tim. You don't see those every day.
You really don't. It was something special. I'll look forward to watching that back. It's another one of those. How many times can I say that that's going to be a play of the season? We're getting a lot of plays of the season over these first 3 play days, but that was absolutely huge from Rise, and his team needed it. There was no two ways about it. With Diffuser on the ground, they had to act there and then. There is no more mistakes available to them. 6-4, of course. Black Dragons have secured the draw. But Santos, they can still get a point out of this. If they can fight their way back in the next 2 rounds with successful defenses, it's going to have to be CCTV, and it's going to have to be gym and bedroom. So it's certainly not going to be easy. But just that, I'm blown away by the last 10 seconds of that round. As I say, you know, the first thing there is just watch Lagonis. He uses every single second of the counter. He is on basically tick to 0. He has less than 1 second when he hits F to start putting that diffuser on the ground, and the reason for that is that he's rotated away because he knows where the challenge is coming from. He knows the man is in moto, so he wants to put as much distance between him and the last defender as he can. Gets himself into a great plant spot, gets it down on the ground. It's completely unpredictable to Rise and gives himself every opportunity to win the round. But how about Rise? That just teaches you, Jackie, to play to the whistle, as we say in a lot of traditional sports. It's all about, you know, playing till the absolute last second until you've actually lost it. And Rise just went to show there that a round is never really lost as long as you've still got a gun in your hand.
Oh, yeah. Don't give up. Don't let your confidence be sapped out here. Played it brilliantly in an environment where he was so low. A single mistake would cost them the game, and he made no mistakes. He played it absolutely amazingly. Walks away with another round for Santos. But at the end of the day, that's all it is. Another round for Santos. And they still need so much more to make this game end in a draw. For Black Dragons, they've already got themselves to 6. 1 attacking round is all that's required, and they will end the game 7-4 here if they can pick it up. Hornatau revealing himself as he fires off some warning shots through the drone hole, looking to rip apart the jeans of the man that was standing on the other side and turn them into shorts. But he comes up short into that encounter. This will not be a small play, though. A bold one from Mighty. Over the top rope. Hits some of the elbow. Frags out onto PZD. Habana has been busted open, and you get left in a 4-on-4 with 60 seconds remaining.
Sometimes risks have to be taken, and that is the point that Santos obviously feel that they have arrived at now, with Mighty, as you say, just catapulting himself over the catwalk there and coming down with a big elbow drop on top of PZD, but then being shut down for his troubles. So that now leaves us in the 4 versus 4 that we find in front of us. The east wall has been open. The pressure is starting to mount on Santos in sight, but they are still fighting, and right now they're not doing a bad job of this. The plant spot kind of open. They're just having a little bit of trouble with that last section of wall there. Hugzord will get the kill onto Scardenia, giving a small advantage here to Black Dragons, but there is still a lot of work to be done and not a lot of time to do it. 15 seconds. They need to think about Lagonis getting in. That is exactly what will happen, but he moves away. I would suggest that he's baiting out that smoke utility that remains. Patoxy gets himself a kill. It's going backwards and forwards here. 2 versus 1. The diffuser has to go down. 3 seconds left to go. We've seen this before. Out comes the nitro, surely. Cyprus.
He shot it.
He shot it out. That's absolutely huge. Cyprus did the absolute perfect play there. Get it in with Sin Julio, be successful with it, but Patoxy is able to shut it down. That's heartbreaking for Cyprus, Jackie. That is absolutely heartbreaking.
Oh, that was the play. That was the Valkyrie saving the day play. The Nitro through the window to detonate it and end the game. Well, end the round, but in the end, it doesn't work out like that. Shot out of the air in mid-flight, Tim. That was the only outcome of them being able to pick that one up. And they made it work. They did the unthinkable. They did the impossible.
It just really goes to show the fine margins that we're working with here in Siege. The absolute difference there between winning and losing was the ability to shoot what is on your screen